In some of the most remote and dangerous corners of the globe, park rangers patrol and protect many of the world's most sacred and special landscapes. Braving harsh and unforgiving climates, facing threats, assault, sometimes even murder, the last thing they should have to worry about is having the right gear, quality equipment to do their job. Because their job is for us, it's for the planet. Their mission of protection and preservation is a gift to humankind. They're not getting fame, they're not getting wealthy. How can we not, at a minimum, ensure that they have what they need? That's why I got involved. That's why Rally for Rangers was created. Well, I was working in Yosemite National Park 4 years ago or so, and the Mongolians came to Yosemite to talk about how to manage parks. And during the conversation, they talked about this rally they were doing to bring new motorcycles to park rangers here. And I said, wait a minute, say that again? You're going to do a rally to bring motorcycles to park rangers in Mongolia? And I'd never heard anything like it. It was the coolest thing I'd ever heard. And they happened to have a spot available. So with 6 weeks to go, I started off-road training and raised some money and came along on the first ride, and now here I am for my third. I've been a part of every rally.
I've always wanted to learn about different cultures, and to actually come here and meet the nomadic people that live here is going to be amazing. It's going to be life-changing. Right now I'm still trying to soak it in that I'm actually here.
I'm out in Mongolia, about to ride across the Gobi Desert to donate this little motorcycle here to one of the national park rangers.
The challenge here is always the terrain, the weather, navigation, the spider web of trails and roads. Even for locals, wayfinding in Mongolia is a challenge. And so the terrain we have to cover, certainly the sand, the rocks, the riverbeds, those things are a challenge, and navigation is a challenge. From
Ulaanbaatar here, it's getting up to 30 degrees, and we're going to be heading up to about 4,000 meters up in some of the mountain ranges where it drops down to about -10.
It's going to be tough. You know, the Gobi Desert is an unforgiving place, and for the rangers to do it every day is amazing.
You know, first day of getting out on the bikes and riding, and we covered, you know, probably about 200 kilometers, and the approach to the gear camp was really cool. It was through this, you know, these rolling hills, which then kind of came into a valley, and we had to do a bit of technical riding through some rocks, and then it kind of opened up to the first gear camp that I'd ever seen. So it was really cool. You know, there was horses kind of running around the fields, and quite a spectacular scene with the sun setting down in the background.
And we finally got off-road, and I couldn't be happier with how the bikes performed off-road. Thankfully, everybody was pretty much wringing them out, so we didn't need to use the brakes very much. But the bikes, I think, are absolutely perfect for what we're doing and where we are. And I've been very, very happy with how they handled and how they've treated everybody so far.
Our second day in, we got up and went to the Ongiin Khiid Monastery, and that place was so surreal. You could see all the ruins everywhere. And back in 1939, Stalin came in and did horrible things to the Buddhists, and just pretty much obliterated their whole camp. And you know, you could kind of feel the sadness there when you walked up, and get up to the top, you could look over the river, and it was pretty surreal. And that hit me in the heart. As soon as we got there, it just opened up from desert, and you could just see these giant cliffs.
we'd come in through the desert, so we'd been riding through the sand dunes, kind of messing about on the bikes, and then we're hit with this pretty dramatic landscape where you've got these massive rocks kind of jutting out of the landscape.
I think honestly the Flaming Cliffs were the highlight of the entire trip for me. There was something really incredible and magical about it, and it was an incredible day of riding. We rode along and the sun was setting, and they just lit up almost like just in these orange and reds, and we parked the bikes right on the end of the cliff and took some incredible shots.
That was one of the times that I feel like our group actually got together and were experiencing Mongolia as it is.
Where's my bro? Today's day 4. We're getting some gas and then we're heading off to the Singing Sand Dunes. So yeah, should be a good one. Weather's fantastic and everybody's good.
We were kind of riding across these extensive Mongolian plains, and then all of a sudden you just hit with this massive wall of red sand. These sand dunes were got to be close to 200 meters tall. It's a really dramatic landscape of these 150-kilometer long yellow sand dunes that just pop out of the middle of the plain. So a group of us took a really cool walk up the top to see what was on the other side, and as far as you could see, it was just these beautiful rolling dunes.
Seeing that much sand in one place, I grew up in Michigan, a lot of sand dunes there, lived in California, sand dunes there, but I've never seen a 110-mile long stretch.
Climbing the Singing Sand Dunes was one of those things where you set off thinking you have to do it because you're there, and halfway up you have to question that because they're very big. But getting the top was absolutely amazing, and my younger brother Robert decided he wanted to jump off one of the sides, which I made him look over before doing it because I have to report back to my mother if something happens to him. Then I proceeded to run down the steepest part of it following him.
I'm a park ranger, so doing things for park rangers around the world is important to me. I've worked in Chile, I've worked in France, I've worked here in Mongolia. And we in the States have it really good. As park rangers, we have a lot of resources at our disposal. Park rangers in a lot of other parts of the world don't have access to the same things we do. And so they're challenged here with the resources they need to take care of poachers, take care of illegal mining, and to cover the ground they have to cover.
Growing up in Australia, we were taught to respect and treat the environment, with care. So I felt this was an opportunity whereby I could do the same and kind of help some of the local Mongolian here take care of their environment, because they've been kind of under-resourced.
So it turns out I broke the bike, but everybody else has also broken theirs. Something to do with getting dirt in it, which is no big surprise. Or the air fuel ratio is not quite right for the altitude that we're at. We're about 2,300 meters now, and I think that's about as high as we're going to get. And Aggie's doing his best to get us sorted out, so hopefully we'll be on the way soon. The locals that we've met on the trip have been incredibly kind and welcoming. I can't imagine, 10 foreigners rolling up to your house in the middle of nowhere and them inviting you in, and the kids and everybody have been fantastic. The people here are incredible and very earnest, and they're just happy that we're here, and it's really nice to be able to help them out to protect such a spectacular place.
Sounds like today there's going to be a number of choices to make along the way, and some the bikes can make and some the trucks can't. So we're going to be asking locals probably like we have many other days, and we're just going to find the best route through 300K to Otgontenger. And we're going to meet our rangers for the first time. Everybody's pretty psyched to get there to make that finish happen.
одоо та бүхэн энэ одоо Америк, Канада, Австрали, Монголын нийлж одоо энэ дом төсөл хөтөлбөр хэрэгжүүлж энэ эгч дүүс төсөл хөтөлбөрийн хүмүүс бүр одоо хэрэг бүр ажил хэрэг болгож энд одоо манай энэ Отgontenger-ийн усан тусгай хамгаалалттай газрын хамгаалтын захиргааны байгаль хамгаалагчдыг одоо маш сайн одоо энэ унаа хөлгөөр хангаж байгаад
4 хоног хийдэг байсан ажлыг 1 хоног ч юм уу 2 хоног ч юм уу хурдан шуурхаа ууландаа явгнаар явдаг байсан мотоциклоор явж хурж ажиллаж явах болно.
I think it's important just to provide perspective in life and to realize that, you know, sometimes we're living in a little bubble and other people in the world aren't as fortunate. And so it's just nice to be able to help out others.
Why is it important for me to go to the other side of the world and give them a motorcycle? I know I've been in places where I need help, and if I can come help somebody, it's gonna be great for everyone involved. And I'm just so happy that I got the opportunity to do this.
The rally isn't about crossing the finish line. It's about accepting the challenge of a lifetime. It's about facing the great unknown, pushing your limits, and giving back to the planet. The question is, are you in?